Log.
Okay, so we are live. The pre-log. All right. So we're gonna discuss today about the video that I've made. I guess we're gonna discuss whether you are allowed to judge a fellow MGTOW. We're gonna discuss what's been going on over the past couple of days. So there's a lot of things that are going to be in this discussion, and I guess the first thing I have to do is introduce Warhorse, who is back, and we're talking again. It's been some time, man. Missed you.
Yeah, I missed you too, man. Yeah, we have gone in a little bit of different directions here, not so much in the community, but rather in what our interests were and everything else. So, yeah, we just haven't gotten together that much in the past few weeks. So, yeah, it's good to talk to you again.
Yeah, man. Well, welcome back. And we can, what do you want to start with? Should we start with my video and the criticism I received regarding that video?
Well, actually, let me address how and why I came into it, because I think I feel a little bit of a standalone to a lot of the criticism you did receive, where you know, a lot of people, I think, got thrown into a situation with these videos, not only yours, but the one that CS did, and so on, that a lot of people felt that all of a sudden they found themselves trying to defend one or the other of these two content makers. And that put everybody into a precarious situation, I think, you know, because a lot of guys didn't want to pick a side of the fence that they had to stay on. And so that was my initial objection to the videos that you two had produced afterwards. And I am not in anybody's ballpark here. You know, I'm neither a fanboy of Sandman's nor am I a fanboy of Stardust, even though I've listened to them extensively. I've been around long enough, maybe not making content, even before Sandman came on the scene. I followed Stardust, so I'm well aware of all the history and what's been going on. So, and I decided, look, you know, my objection to this whole, you know, feud going on and people taking one side of the fence to the other, it's that it's creating necessary shitstorms and drama. You know, it's very unnecessary because it's dividing people, and it's not causing a unity that we really need. And the other thing is that these are two grown adult men that, and I'm not going to get into who drew first blood. I'm well aware of who did, but they need to haggle out their problem on their own, like two adults. And if they can't do that, I see no reason for us to get in a war, all of us, you know, and take one side or the other. Obviously, we're all going to have a takeaway from everybody's videos in a different subjective, you know, how do I put it, an opinion or perspective of what we would agree with or not agree with. So everybody making all this different content is fine. It's great. It gives people something to pick and choose from and so on and so forth. But when it creates divisions like this, I think this is a real problem. And these two guys are this is to me akin to two boxers that get into a ring and the mob climbs over the ropes and gets into a big knockdown drag out in the middle of the ring while the two boxers sit on the stools watching the mob fight. It's ridiculous. And when you guys make videos like you have, you're adding fuel to the fire. And this is what I'd like to see stop and brought forth more, to bringing these guys out to address the problem or to stop causing it.
Okay. Well, I don't disagree with a lot of what you said, and you know my opinion. I do think that it's better if Stardust and Sandman did sit down and talked right? I mean, as much I have said definitely to Stardust, who I talk to anyway, but that doesn't seem to be happening. I mean, from what I understand, an invitation was sent in the past for a discussion, and they've never had this discussion, and they've never, from what I understand, ever spoken to each other. Not in terms of, like, you know, listening to another person's voice, not that they should go and drink beer together or any of that stuff, but yeah, it's been happening. And the reason why I made the video is because I felt the video was very factually inaccurate. It was quite inaccurate in terms of its content. It was false, and it was quite clear to me that there were a lot of lies there. And when I saw the comments underneath and how many people were supporting that type of, let's say, video, and however many people were agreeing to what was being said, I felt like I needed to make a video response against it. And I'm aware that it looked like we ganged up on against Sandman. Not that either me or CS exist in the community for such a long time that our opinion has any value whatsoever. But I could see the factual inaccuracies, and I've decided to go ahead and make a video. And I told you that I mean, I didn't enjoy making the video as much. I mean, it was fun, the first part where I did the voice thingy, because I enjoy making different voices. But other than that, it took a long fucking time to make that video. And I think my frustration in making the video, actually, you could hear it. And I mean, wasn't just frustrated in making the video. I was frustrated as well with the content that I had to keep listening on repeat, and I knew was factually wrong. The thing is, I felt like something needed to be said, because I made a video before and I said, "G's on your leaders' faces." And I know I keep bringing that video up, but I truly believe that. I truly believe that if there is any factual inaccuracies for my content, you know, if there's any factual inaccuracies with anyone's content, they should really be making videos against it.
Okay, well, see, here's the way I look at it. That almost 80%, maybe more, of the MGTOW videos are very anecdotal. You know, there aren't citations, there aren't you know, facts always listed. It's a perception that the content maker is seeing through his glasses. So you know, and again, here we go. You know, you made a rebuttal trying to point out inconsistencies in a squabble that actually you had no business getting in the middle of. Okay, other than, okay, out of friendship, which is admirable, but yet
I didn't do it just for friendship. I mean, I need to be clear about this. I have a lot of disagreements with regards to Sandman's content. I mean, I did watch him initially when I first started and I first got into the community. I did watch him, and I even told him, I've sent him, I remember when I went through my messages right now, I've even sent him message in the past when I first started that he should do a video against something that I noticed, right? So I've even sent him ideas to make content. So I didn't really think of the whole situation as a whole, because as you progress through the community, and I'm sure you're aware of this, then you notice that there is stages that you have to go through. And I mean, I felt like a lot of the stuff that he was saying, because I have been watching some of his content here and there, you know, if there was an interesting picture or maybe an interesting title, I would press play and I would sit down and watch 10 minutes. But there was no development, right? And when he offered blatant lies, and also at the same time went back, if you listen to the entire video that he did, he even suggests that, you know, you can't really be a MGTOW unless you engage with women in a certain way. There's something to do with a bucket list. There is nothing really constructive in it. And I know a lot of the content that we create is based on personal opinion, right? There is a lot of it. Some of us do research beforehand before we say something, and I do a lot of research, especially when there is something that I think it's more medical, and I know how to get that information and relay that information to the MGTOW community.
Right. I understand that, but and here's the thing. Look, even if Sandman did have, you know, all you know, unfactual things, you might call them blatant lies, whatever else. These may be from his perspective, his recall, his memory. He, you know, whatever. And look, I'm not defending the guy. Trust me. I'm not going to defend either one of them, and I'm not going to throw either one of them under the bus. This is not my fight. This is something that I think that Stardust should have addressed himself, not anybody else. You know, this, I mean, you actually didn't have a dog in the fight. You know, this was between these two guys, a back and forth that's been going on for quite a while. I wish they would have dropped it a long time ago, because to me it's very uninteresting. You know, it has nothing to do with my actual life. But so they did it, you know, and this is their fight. That, you know, and this is what I'm trying to get down to. That, you know, this is a distraction to the message that content producers should be putting out there for men that are going through a rough time. And like I said before, and I spoke with CS yesterday about this, think about the guy that just had his wife run out on him, cheat on him, take his house, and now he's got divorce papers handed to him. And he comes in here and he finds this squabbling shit. Okay, this isn't very helpful. And I try to put myself into these positions, even though I'm way, way beyond red pill rage. I'm way beyond any of this hurt or what have you. Yeah. And so, of course, but I can relate to it, because in the past, of course, in my younger years, I've gone through this. So I think of, look, somebody's coming in here for help. They find MGTOW. And I don't know if you've ever seen the movie The Life of Pi, which is very interesting, and I don't mean to give away the ending.
I've seen it.
Okay, you know, and he says, which story would you rather hear? Well, this is exactly what these men are doing when they come and find MGTOW, or they find this community, a safe haven, a place they can go and hear a story that they can relate to. Now, if Sandman is putting it out there, and it isn't very academic or intellectual or factual even, this is a story these men need right now. They can pick and choose. And I think it's very condescending to men to think that they have to be shown that, okay, maybe this guy's full of shit or that guy's full of shit or whatever. Okay, they can figure that out for themselves, as a lot of us have with different content producers. And not only these two, you eventually have the intellect to say, I am moving on. I have outgrown this. But in the beginning, to get involved in it, they all have their place. So, you know, this is why I say it's better to stay out of that fight. And, you know, you guys really snowballed it. And
okay. Look, I'll give you that. I mean, first of all, I told you this when we had a private chat before, that I told Stardust I was making a refute against Sandman's video, and he told me, yeah, you shouldn't be making a video. And I told him, well, I don't care. The shit just stands there unaddressed, and I went ahead and made the video anyway. So I kind of like did this to myself.
Yeah,
right?
you should have listened to him. I mean, you should have.
But at the end of the day, I'm a grown man. I make my own decisions. I felt that the stuff needed to be addressed because it was blatant lies and it was a character assassination at the end of the day. The disagreement with the content that I have with regards to Sandman is different, and it's not in terms of being condescending or whatever towards other men. The majority of men, as you say, they're hurting, and what he's created is a constant supply of medications. As he says it, give you the red pill, get the dose, feel better afterwards, right? And realistically speaking, he's creating a constant cycle of use, right? These men are hurting, and I mean, personally, from the way that I see it, it's as if I'm a doctor right now, and I'm not trying to give you a cure, but I'm when I have a cure, but I'm simply treating the symptoms and just prolonging that person's suffering. I know that we say that people, well, let me finish for a second.
Okay,
we say that people have the intellectual capacity to do that, but as you very well know, emotional things are very different. And how long did you spend in your youth being stuck on that rage thing that you talked about? You spend a long time being stuck in anger and in rage. It takes a long time, and maybe it takes someone that you trust. And Salman has a lot of people that trust him. He has 30, I have no idea, 30,000 subs. All right, more than that. And if he used to tell them, look, guys, you know, it's all nice and good to be angry, but at some point we need to move on. And I have my ideas on how to do that and serve them those ideas.
Certainly, certainly, and we all have a different way of attacking that routine. And look, let me address your analogy to you know, giving somebody you know, a red pill, if you will, or medication, the constant input. And let's not forget the fact that his videos are rapid fire, one a day, and they are only 10 minutes long. Now, a man that's searching for an answer is going to, okay, find him first, maybe because he comes up on search and Google, probably on the top 3, I think, I don't know. And then after 10 minutes, if you think that the hurt has been quelled and that they don't go searching for more now, then I think you're mistaken, you know, because if a doctor gave me a pill that only lasted 10 minutes, I'd be doing a lot of research on what else was available, seeing other doctors and what have you. And I think most of these men, you know, other than maybe young men, you know, in their teens, and even then, I think have that intellect to go out and continue looking. They will normally gravitate to other people.
They would, as long as they know that there is other people available around, as long as they know that there is other options. And yes, you can do your own research, right? But it doesn't mean to say that I'm not going to judge a person's opinions. I mean, let me tell you how I see it, right? So that we can discuss about this. Like, saying that we cannot judge people, or you're not saying that, actually. What you're saying is that he has his place, right? He has his place in MGTOW,
yes,
and of course,
I believe he does, as I do. Stardust does also.
Absolutely.
You know, I think everybody, including some of the crazier MGTOWs that I totally don't agree with, I think they have a place too. You know, yes, but go ahead.
Yeah. So if you have a disagreement with someone, right, even within the community, even within MGTOW that we call each other brothers, I think that disagreement needs to happen in public. It needs to be vocalized. It needs to be spoken out for people to see the different points of view. It's not just about like destroying another person, but if we don't judge anyone, that's a cultish almost attitude, that we shouldn't judge anyone that's a content producer or someone who is a MGTOW. That's
Nico,
wrong. Yeah.
what you just said is spot on. I agree 100% that the conversation should be open. It should be out in the public. It should get taken care of. And that is exactly my point with these two guys, that they need to have that conversation and get out there and do this. You know, this is my point exactly. And the drama that's caused by everybody else with their input, yes, you're putting your spin on it. And look, if you went after Sandman with an attack, just not including anybody else or what have you, you have that right. Of course you do. And you had the right to make whatever you want. Like you said, you're an adult, you're a grown man. But, um, you know, the thing is that I think it adds unnecessary toxic drama to the actual message. See, this is where I agree with you. It should be out in the open. And I wish these guys would handle this if they actually had the best interest of the men at heart. They would do it, no matter how uncomfortable. This conversation we're having isn't exactly jovial. We could talk about a lot more fun things, but we're having the conversation. So why can't these two supposed top dogs with superior intellect and contents, why can't they do this?
Well, I don't know the answer to the question. All I can say is that I know that Stardust offered to have a conversation with him somewhere in the past. I don't think that has happened now, and I can't really speak for the guy myself. I can't speak for his motivations or his intent, but as far as I know, he offered to have the conversation with Sandman. I completely agree, and I was expecting that this would bring a shitstorm about. I really knew that it would bring a shitstorm towards me. I knew it, and I was discussing with the rest of the guys. For example, I was telling Messenger and Shining, I was telling them, look, I'm releasing a video, it's going to create a shitstorm, I'm going to be covered in shit afterwards. But I expect, if there is such an issue, right, we're talking about MGTOW, and I actually do care about the community, and maybe I shouldn't care about the community as much as I do, but I do care about the community, right? And I expect that in order to clean something up, you'll end up getting dirty. You have to, right? And in order for this to eventually happen, in order for the problem to eventually get solved in whatever way, something needs to happen. Maybe something big, maybe some shitstorm, maybe whatever, right? But I thought that I needed to refute that video. I refuted that video because it was standing there, sitting there with no one ever caring. Actually, do you know what people were saying under the video? It's like, oh, I'm getting my popcorn on, I'm gonna enjoy this. People actually enjoy the drama, which is surprising to me, because the toxicity, as you said, does not help men to heal. But a lot of the people that watched that video under the comment section were saying, oh, I'm getting my popcorn on, I'm having fun, this is entertaining, which is stupid. And I'm sure you agree with me on this, that it's stupid that people get off on the entertainment of the whole thing.
Of course, I think it is stupid. I think yes, people are drawn to the drama. Unfortunately, that is what people that want to get high viewership, subscribers, and what have you will do purposely. We see it a lot in this community with certain content producers that constantly change the subject, cause drama, and what have you. And I think it's very toxic and hurtful. And again, I'm sure these two guys are well aware of the shitstorm that's been going on. And, yeah, you did kind of put the magnifying glass on yourself there. And you knew that...
You didn't gain me any subs whatsoever. I didn't do it for the subs. It helped me ban people that were spreading toxic lies about me and calling me whatever names, and in the comment section, it helped me get people that were causing problems. I've probably lost a lot more subs than I have gained through that video. I didn't do it to gain subs. I don't give a shit about subs. And I said it to people before, like, I make more in 1 hour of work than I made so far in the entire YouTube thing that's been going on for over 6 months. So this is not about fame. This is not about me gaining any money or whatever. If money comes from it, brilliant. Because, even buying a book from this whole thing would be awesome. But, it's not really doing it for me.
I didn't really mean to imply that you were the one doing this, but that it does happen quite a lot. And by bringing this up, I'm well aware that you don't need the money, or that this isn't really a money-making proposition. I certainly don't make anything, period. But the whole idea, yes, some people love the drama, but again, this always brings me back to. I think a lot of the content producers have good intentions,
Yeah.
and they really mean well, and it does get lost sometimes in the vitriol that is out there. And but the thing also is that what I think your video did, and it may have not gained you subs, it might got rid of you, some of them, but it divided people. It made them almost instinctively take a position, which I tried so hard not to do in the comments section. And I try not to get involved with the herd mentality thing. And this is kind of why I quit with the Sunday Hangout and everything else. I found myself really starting to think and agree, nothing but agree with almost everybody. And you know me better than that, Nico. I am, I'm very vocal about a counterpoint.
That's why we were talking, man.
Right. And this is why I backed off from the whole, Hangout thing, and kind of had to collect my thoughts and start doing a little bit of independent thinking again. So, and it just struck me that, this was, and really weird that within a day, you and CS came up with pretty much the same type of bashing video. And everybody that's following knows that you guys have been talking with Stardust and, Bar and what have you. And that it seemed like a good old boys country club, the hobnobbing going on. That and then the attack videos came out. It seemed very uncomfortable and divisive in my opinion. And I'm saying, looking from the outside in, okay, not everybody's privy to behind the scenes talks and hangouts and what have you. So there's a lot more going on, and I'm well aware of that. But the appearance that it gives from just being a part of the MGTOW community and watching these videos and getting information from them, that's what I would have perceived, that, oh, good. Now we got an elitist bunch of guys, and all they're going to do is dump on this one guy. And it felt to me very uncomfortable.
Yeah.
So,
well, I understand that. I completely understand that. And actually, if you want me to be honest, and to everyone who was watching, I mean, I did discuss with CS that I was making a video refuting Sandman's video. We did discuss the video before. We never said that we would make a refute video. But then, after telling Stardust, look, I'm making a refute video, and him telling me, don't do the fucking video. I told CS, and I'm like, well, I started, it took so many hours, I'm going to fucking finish it, and I'm going to upload it. And he told me, well, I'm making one as well. I'll make one as well. And then he did a much better job than me, because I think he refuted the video completely. Now, I know it looks like we're in a country club and whatever. And I mean, each one person can choose the people that they talk to. And I know for some people, it might be difficult to understand that I do have an honest friendship with Stardust. I do have an honest friendship, honest to God. And I have no idea how it works. No idea. We're very different people. We're the complete opposites on a lot of things, and but we can talk like friends, all the time. And that, yeah, it did piss me off that all those lies were standing there unaddressed. And I did defend my friend a little bit in that video. But the video was not because it was a personal attack to Stardust. I know that he can defend himself a lot better than I can defend him. But it was that it was all lies. And how can you make, as a person, a defense against lies? Just say, no, I didn't do that. No, I didn't say that.
No,
that's not a video. That's just
that's not, I think if anything, if you wanted to make a video, I would have called him out both publicly. You know,
I
do
did
whatever
that
you.
before. I did that before, and actually, no one can tell me that I haven't taken, let's say, jabs at anyone before. I made a video before about this feud that has been going on, and I told them, you know, you should talk it out and whatever. I don't even remember the video. And I've made a video before where I was doing a reply to Stardust and some of his opinions. That and that was before we talked to each other. um, I don't think making videos against someone necessarily causes that much drama. I certainly didn't do when I was doing it before. Maybe that I have slightly more subs right now, it's causing a bit more drama. But yeah, I have done it before, and I've made a video against Stardust as well. And he knows that. He knows that. We're perfectly clear on that.
Look at the comments section in your video and CS's video. And of course Stardust's video when he mentioned Sandman, and Sandman's videos when he mentioned Stardust. It's causing a clear divide. You know, people are picking sides, and this is where, you know, these two guys as being very out there, you know, very in the forefront, very respected, if you will, in their respective fan base, if you want to call it that. They are well respected. They have a lot to say. People listen to them, and yes, they should take more responsibility for what they put out there. Okay, and by that I mean Sandman should either make a disclaimer that he's not sure or whatever, you know, and you know, with Stardust, the barbs come out of the blue during a what would be an otherwise interesting video. All of a sudden becomes this little gut check that he puts in, and you know, it just, man, it's starting to really annoy the hell out of me, and I don't know why, because it really doesn't affect my life, but I see what it's doing to the community at large, and I know the comments section can become a free-for-all.
Yeah,
and,
a war zone sometimes.
And it is, and that's exactly what happened on these videos.
Yeah.
And at some point, everybody shuts down their rational thinking ability, and it's all from emotion now. So again, I don't think it did any good, and that's why the comments I posted is what I'm trying to explain and make sure that everybody understands that I am on nobody's side here. Okay, I'm of my own opinion, independent thought, and this is my subjective opinion. You know, it has no basis in anything other than how I see it, and of course that falls back on my lifestyle and how I live and everything else. So, you know, I may be way off base here, but I'm not seeing the advantage to the way it's going right now. And I hope, you know, as this kind of snowballs, and I think we're putting it to rest to a degree, or at least amongst you know, rational talking and thinking people such as yourself and myself and what have you. You know, that these two guys can come to some sort of agreement, or some sort of end to this constant squabble, which takes away so much from the actual help they should be giving, or they profess to be hopefully giving. So if their, you know, if their actions don't match their claims, then how do you take them serious on anything else?
Well, to be fair, my hope was that this would cause a shitstorm, a big fucking shitstorm, right? Which it did, so that's all right. Good on me. That plan worked. And then the questions would be brought forward. Can you judge other MGTOW? Should you let absolute lies to go unchallenged? Should the fights be settled and the arguments be settled in a way that simply people come together and have a discussion like we're doing right now? And it's not just you that I have disagreements before. And whenever I have disagreements with someone, I'll get those people in one room, sit them down, talk it out, and people can agree to disagree, which is okay, like I've done with Messenger before. We agree to disagree, and we still talk, and you know, that maintains kind of like a form of cohesion within the community, right?
Certainly, yes.
I do agree in doing things like that. We're not going to agree on everything. I think there is a principal agreement, a disagreement, not agreement, a principal disagreement with regards to Stardust and Sandman. But I think if those two were to sit in a room, they would be able to talk like adults, hopefully. Now, from my point of view, I have sent a message, private message to Sandman, and I have sent him this link, the one that we're talking right now. And if he's willing to jump in, brilliant, man.
Okay.
Yeah, and if he jumps in,
like I told you, you know, this is something that I'm not going to get involved with either Sandman or Stardust defending their position to me.
yeah, of course
They
not.
can of course do it on their own channel and make an independent video, and they can go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, which is going to cause even more harm. And you know, or they can, yes, they, you know, I'd be more than happy to listen through, but I will have very little, if any, input, because this is not my fight, you know. And I welcome these guys to sit down and have a good adult discussion, and maybe one or both of them sees something that they could change, you know, from now realizing the other one's perspective, where they're coming from, because I don't think that they've had the time to explain their entire thought process and where they're coming from and why this keeps going on. And it's confusing a lot of people that are coming in late to the game also. You know, where did this start, and this and what have you. So that would be fantastic. And I think they would do it very politely, you know, and then maybe things would change, you know, on both of their parts. So this is my hope, Nico. You know, it's not so much that starting the shitstorm. Yeah, okay. Well, you made, you know, look, I don't know what good it did making a lot of other people uncomfortable and having to choose and pick sides and what have you. The point here is that the pressure needs to be put on these two men that are having a battle of, oh God, I don't even know what, you know, perception or their point of view. And see, even I'm confused as to sometimes what the hell this is achieving or what they're even on about anymore. You know, it just got to that point, and I've been following it since the beginning, you know, and this is why I just didn't, you know, I didn't agree with the videos you guys came up with, but there it is, you know. So I'm not going to say it again. That was my entire point, and you know, I'm not here to prove my point or to say that my point is right. It's just from my point of view. This is how I see it.
Yeah, well, it's, man, your point of view, I completely understand, and I completely understand your disagreement with what I and CS did with regards to refuting the video. It's not refuting it as such; is the fact that you, as you say, we got involved in someone else's fight, and the way that I see it is that it's not a fight as such. It's a content that was put out and it required refuting. It's content that wasn't addressed simply to Stardust. It was a video that was addressed for all the community. And I think Sandman was urging people to pick sides with regards to this. And I was, and I wanted to share my opinion on the matter, and that's what I did. Because I couldn't just let it stand there, as it did for many days actually, without anyone making a video about it. Yeah, so that's what I did, and it's not inviting Sandman here to defend himself to us, but he might have a disagreement with what I did, and I know that he has a disagreement with what I did because he did send me a personal message back, and he thinks I'm an errand boy, from what I understand, for Stardust, and I'm not. I'm not. I do whatever the hell I please, and actually it makes Stardust the majority of the times angry at me, which is okay, because I, as a man, you're just gonna do what you're going to do.
Right.
At the end of the day, we all have our own opinions, and no one is above being judged, as what I think. I had some people in the comment section. There was one guy, actually. He told me that I'm neither Sandman's caliber or Stardust caliber, therefore I should stay out of it.
Oh, that's all right. That's beyond ridiculous. You know, I don't agree with that comment at all. You know, look. You know, you have a right to do whatever you want. Again, and you know. It's just, you know, and again, Sandman, he calls you an errand boy, and I think from his perspective, without actually talking to you and getting the reasons why, and getting a little bit more in depth, he's not taking that time. He's flinging an insult out there, and it's perceived that yeah, you're chummy with Stardust, therefore you're helping him out, and you know, he's. And I can't speak for him, but you know, it may appear that Stardust is just sitting back, laughing his ass off, having fun, going ha ha ha. You know, here we go. He's enjoying the fight. You know, although he's the one that should be taking the bumps and hard knocks. Both of them should be. Yeah, the perception is that okay, you went out and did the dirty work that should have been done. Whether it's misguided or not is open to debate too. But
Yeah.
The thing is, mature people, and I think, you know, talking about how men are so much more logical and everything else, they then need to get together and work this type of thing out. I think Sandman should have talked to you in depth, maybe done a private hangout, anything. But this name calling shit, and this is how I perceive it just off the YouTube videos. You know, I mean, the comment section, of course, isn't held to the same standard that the video itself might be held to. But it would still be to everybody's advantage for these type of things to be clarified. And you can still end up at the end of the conversation disagreeing and having the same thoughts, but at least it would have been talked out calmly and rationally.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure that, let's say, if we, well, I can speak. Well, can I speak about anyone other than myself? I mean, I can make the prediction if Sandman and Stardust were to sit together, they would talk it out like adults. As long as this back and forward thing is happening on videos, it's not going to be an adult conversation, and you know that, because I mean, I make angry videos as well, but then you know, you sit down and you talk to me and you're like, oh, this guy is not as angry as you think he is. Yeah, people should be able to have a discussion. Now, I'm sure that at least from one side, a discussion would occur. Now, as for the other side, I'm not sure, and I can't speak. And I'm not picking sides here, although I did pick a side in refuting that video. It needs to happen. I do believe that it needs to happen, and I don't believe I'm a big enough voice for anyone to listen to or respect in any way, but I do think that my opinion is valid with regards to this. Yes, these two people should talk it out. They should, and I know that Stardust is perfectly willing to jump on top of this hangout and talk. Now, whether Sandman will do the same, I don't know. I don't have the means of communicating with Sandman right now. If I did, I would talk to him personally and urge him to jump on the podcast, and we can just sit back or just let them talk it out on their own. Right. I can just mute my mic, walk away, and let them talk. I don't have to do very much with regards to this, but it needs to be in an open space for people to see. And this whole thing eventually needs to go to rest.
Yes, I
With the
wholeheartedly
opinions
agree.
open. Yeah.
I agree wholeheartedly. And look, excuse me, you can and should talk about anybody else, and judging people is quite all right. Making videos about it, we've done it before in the past. We've all had our opinions about other content producers and everything else, but it's usually been a direct, let's say if I didn't like what Sexy MGTOW said, for example, okay, then I would make a video directing my dislike or what have you towards him. Okay, I wouldn't get into it. Let's say if him and Messenger were into a big knockdown drag out, and then I wouldn't make a video on that. Okay, this is where I would draw the line personally, because again, let them hash it out. I might put a comment in the comment section, but I don't think I would take a side, even with those two. And I think you're well aware of whose side I would take there. Okay, but all right, understood. But I don't think I'd come across as, look, I'm going to defend this guy and gang up on somebody else that may have a valid point of taking the other side. So therefore, I'd like to remain neutral on these subjects, which, again, you have the right to talk about these people, and we should point out bad behavior, improper information. Yes, I agree with that. And if Sandman put out disinformation, it needs to be pointed out. And if he can defend his information as being proper or what have you, then he should do that. Other than that, he should just shut up, take his lumps, say I made a mistake, and not repeat that mistake. Yeah, I mean, I agree with you there that you should have an opinion. You should judge the content of whether it's helpful, hurtful, toxic, or what have you. And by the way, I just wanted to do a quick, before we got into this, I was surfing along and Osiris made a video regarding this subject too. And I agree with his video 100%, even though I've only been halfway through it.
I haven't watched it.
Okay, I haven't. I have never spoken to Osiris, so I'm not a fanboy. And I've heard him on one podcast. I think he'd said a few things I didn't agree with there too, but I agree with the video that he put out here, and I think he's seeing it from a more rational perspective too. So anyway, anybody wants to watch that and have another take on the subject, I would recommend that. Yeah. So and maybe you can have a conversation with him, or he might get in somewhere, and we can have this conversation again. But I really do, with all my heart, hope that these two guys can somehow rectify this, because I think they're doing a great deal of harm, and it's causing other people to take a stance that they necessarily would not take in any other position than what Sandman and Stardust have put everybody into. Mm-hmm. So this is something I really truly hope that happens, but whether it does or doesn't is ultimately up to them.
Yeah, well, can I say at this point, I mean, potentially we can get Stardust gone, right? He can say his side, and maybe if Sandman is watching this, who knows? I don't think he is. He definitely unsubscribed from my channel, and I don't. He's with reason to unsubscribe. I'm not saying otherwise. Right. But we can bring at least one of the two in, and he can say his point of view, and we're not going to attack him. We're not going to attack you. It's nothing like that. This is not how this is going to go. I'm not going to allow it to go like this. Anyway.
No, and I have, again, if, there is some counterpoint to be made in anything that either one of them say, I am not in a position to counter that. The other person that's involved is in a better position to give their take on it and their explanation for it to that person, whether they're defending their position or what have you. So no, I don't care to get into a debate with either one of them, because
we're not gonna
it's
debate.
basically, it's not my fight. And I would like to hear explanations, and it doesn't mean that I would be taking a side either way. Now, after things get worked out, then I might say, okay, this one made a better point than the other one, but we're nowhere close to that. And hello, I see Thinking Ape is here.
Hello, sir.
Hello, how are you?
I'm alive. I'm getting the echo basically from the conversation you had a minute or two ago. How do I stop that?
Yeah, you mute the YouTube video that's playing on the background.
Wow, like magic. Oh,
Yeah.
you can see my profile pic too.
Yes.
Yeah, you can. It's beautiful.
It is my favorite, you know that.
God.
So yeah, I've been listening, and I certainly understand your position. It's one of essentially political neutrality, sort of Switzerland-esque.
Yes.
I get that. And let me tell you, he pointed this out to you. I told Nico not to do that. I told him not to. My position when I saw the video that was released was basically, I know you have a different perspective, but this is just complete fabrication. I don't even know, if I were to make a response video, which I don't really want, where would I even begin? So I just left it alone. I had, Nico told me, I didn't know that CS MGTOW was making a video. So I was just going to leave it be. I mean, that was my effort at quote-unquote burying the hatchet, as, you know, I have no intention, to the best of my ability, of, unless Sandman, tries to fucking get me murdered or something, or completely ruin my livelihood. I don't really care, I'm just going to leave him alone. After he made that video, I saw, and this is just my view, I mean, like I said, just lie after lie. So there's no reasoning with this person. I'm just not going to bother, and I'll just keep on doing my own thing and make my own videos. I'll not mention the guy again. Then Nico informed that he was making a response, and I said to myself, this is not a good idea, because for precisely the reasons that you cited. There's this engagement between the two of us, and I did fire the first shot well before he was ever big, mind you. That's also documented. It's just been going on forever. I don't need to have the last word, and I think every sub of mine who knows my body of work, they saw the video and they either had to laugh or just scratch their head. So I don't, I don't have any intention of pursuing the Sandman thing anymore, and he can be happy with getting the last word and whatever. That's basically my position. The work of Nico and CS, the videos they made, I would agree. I mean, if I had been able to talk to CS MGTOW, prior to him making that video, I would have told them too, don't do it. But they're grown men, and they can do what they want. So.
Yeah. I mean, I talked to CS yesterday, and we talked for about an hour, and I basically reiterated what I've said today, and he did see some validity in my point. But again, he felt he had to do this. But like I said, I think it did more harm to the complete community of putting people into a position of having to pick a side, almost feeling forced to remember maybe a tiny tidbit, as we all do, of something that stands out in our mind. And then we go and defend that position, and all of a sudden we're either, a Stardust fanboy, or we're a Sandman fanboy, and didn't even mean to be, So that's where I think it did the harm, and also people coming into the community not yet well aware of the history of it, and. Gosh, I wish you guys would have kind of worked this out a long time ago, really.
Sir, if I might respond, about a year ago, I don't know the exact timeline, but it was something about a year ago. I had offered Sandman the opportunity to talk to me. He turned it down. And I'm paraphrasing, but almost quoting to the best of my recollection. He said, "What would be the point?" I said, "Well, you know, if I made an offer to him and he doesn't want to talk to me, that's at that point in time." And like I said, I don't have any intention of beyond this talk here of addressing him anymore. I just want to keep on pursuing my own work and videos, and he'll do his own thing. And you know, I'll just have to I'm taking knocks because people literally believe that I'm trying to on his channel. I'm trying to become a tenured professor of MGTOW philosophy and live off the government teat or something. It was the first time I had heard that. But so you know, there are lots of people that believe things about me that are just not accurate, and I'm willing to accept that, and I'll just keep on doing my thing. And I'm sure. Well, I can't be sure. My impression is that Sandman will keep on doing his thing, and the fact that most people can discern that that video was just packed full of lies probably will prevent him from mentioning me again, I should hope, and you know, we'll just keep on doing our separate thing. With that said, people naturally are inclined to certain kinds of content or another, and so they naturally take sides. Even Switzerland was doing business with the Nazis, for example. So
I'm aware of that because I'm you know, born and raised German. So
okay, yeah. So I mean,
I am of that bloodline, and my history comes from there. So yeah, I'm well aware of that, and it's hard. I see inconsistencies in what he said at certain points that I do remember. You know, and look, you know, again, like I said, I'm not going to put my 2 cents worth into it. I'll do that in the comments section. I've done it with you. I've done it with Sandman. I've certainly not agreed with everything on either side of the fence, and I get vocal about it. And you know, I think this is why Nico and me can get along this well, because we have been vocal with each other, you know, on disagreements without ever coming to blows or being childish about it. And I think that's a healthy way of doing it. And I don't enjoy dragging other people into that mess. So, you know, yeah, this is what the conversation was basically about today, to try to, you know, put this to rest finally. Because I think it's just doing such a distraction that it's unwarranted at this point.
Yeah, no, I would agree. I'm tired. That's why I had no intention, will not make a response to that particular video. I said, unless Sandman actually tries to harm, you know, my livelihood or inflict physical harm on me or you know, threaten people I care about, I really have nothing to say about him anymore. So, yeah, I'm just going to keep on doing my own thing. He can keep on making his videos. And for the record, for those listening, I kind of basically said everything I had to say about him in my video entitled MGTOW Marketing. I offered my perspective, and you know, people can go and watch that. It's from March, and I just, you know, I'd like to move on, particularly after that that rather funny video of his on MGTOW Purist. So,
right. Yeah, it really should. And look, you know, nobody's going to fault either one of you guys if you know, you get on each other, make a video, and actually address the points, and it can be a back and forth, which you know, actually is kind of a losing proposition at this point. But I wouldn't fault anybody for doing it. You know, and you know, it's been said a couple times in the comments section, and yesterday I think Shining mentioned it because he came in on the CS MGTOW little private hangout I had with him, and he kind of mentioned that it was white knighting, you know, that basically Nico and CS, what we consider white knighting for women, were doing for you know, you, and then other guys white knighting for Sandman. So you know, this is the type of thing that the perceptions out there and the divisions that it causes what got me to open my big mouth.
Can I speak on the white knighting part?
Yeah, go ahead.
Although I can imagine Stardusk's amazing profile picture that I can see right there to be worthy of saving. Need to lose a couple of pounds and get rid of the obstructive sleep apnea machine that he has there. I don't really see him as a damsel in distress in any shape of the imagination. So I didn't try to white knight him or whatever. Yes, I did feel like someone was attacking my friend, but it wasn't kind of like along those lines. It was lies that I wanted to address, and that's what I did. I mean, at the end of the day, I'm pretty sure he's much better at defending himself than I can defend him. Not even physically speaking, I'm a tiny little guy, right? So I wouldn't be able to defend him physically, even against you know, Sandman or a really, really big lady, for that matter. And that's not what I did. I didn't really think that Stardust was a damsel in distress. And actually, talking to him, he didn't seem to be too bothered about anything at the time.
Right. And look, you know, I know that he's well aware of being able to defend himself, but the perception is everything, you know,
Yeah.
and that's where the perception out there of people that aren't privy to the behind-the-scenes talking and everything else and don't get into conversations like this or even get to hear the points, it looks to them very black and white, you know. So when people start coming up with it's white knighting or, you know, what have you, this is the way the perception is out there. So are they wrong? Yes, but this is the way they see it. So you can't really fault people for it until they've been put straight. And this may help. This podcast, hopefully, you know, many people are listening to it, will hear this, and it will clear the air somewhat, so that they know that this wasn't a thing of white knighting, or that you weren't asked to do this. Matter of fact, you were told to shut up and you didn't listen. Which
Yeah.
I think you should maybe listen to Stardust a little bit more often.
He rarely
on
does,
occasion.
sir. He rarely does.
Well,
Yeah.
he knows personally. He told me to shut up many times, and I never listened.
So
Whether I
Yeah.
regret making the video or not, I don't regret making the video. I will never regret anything that I do. And unfortunately, I'm one of those people that acts, then thinks about it, then says, oops, and then just moves on with his life. Yeah, I think it's perfectly well known that I am like that. If anyone has ever listened to me talk in terms of like a hangout, I know you and Stardust know that for a fact, that I just act on
you're
my own volition.
very stubborn and
I've
hard-headed.
tried to teach him to be less impulsive. You can ask him. I'm constantly saying, you know, I know you think you're always right and you do, but, you know, think before you speak and think before you act sometimes. We're all guilty. I've done this before. I've done it publicly in my videos, but I mean, I do see the virtue in self-restraint, and I don't think Nico is quite there yet, but maybe one day.
He's still
No.
young. He's
That's
still
true.
a
He
young
is still
guy.
young, yeah.
So he's going to have to fight that impulsiveness, and that'll come from. Well, he'll be getting his PhD in the School of Hard Knocks if he continues to be this way.
Yeah, I think so.
Man, okay, I didn't think this hangout would turn out to be against me. I mean, at the end of the day.
We're just having a little.
No, but
fun.
I think it is clear. It's important to establish that I not only didn't ask you, I tried to discourage you from making the video. There was no.
Yeah, quite vocally actually,
yeah.
if memory serves well.
Yeah, I mean
I'm
several
like, no, I'm
times.
doing it.
Yeah, you might have want to mention that in your video as a prelogue or whatever. You know,
You might want to put
I
exactly a speech bubble in there. Yeah.
Yeah, I was told to shut up by Stardust and not do this. Therefore, and then continue on with the video, clarifying that, and I think a lot of people would have understood at that point, or well, some. You know, attention spans are very short, so you know, their entire take on these videos would have been different, knowing that it had a whole underlying talk going on before it went out, and that this was something you just decided to pick up and run with. And of course, the hand grenade kind of blew up before you got it out, and well, here we are. So Yeah,
It's fine. I have more likes in that video than dislikes. I hope saying that no one goes and changes that. But yeah, I know. I mean, I didn't think that Stardust's opinion was mattered, to be fair, because I made a video against Sandman. That's what I thought about it. It was my words, you know. Stardust shouldn't have been drawn into any of that. But apparently, yeah, it did matter because it looked like I was picking sides, and I did say in that video that I'm friends with him. Yeah, okay, I can see that, and I can see your point in terms of perceptions and all that, and you know what I think about perceptions, that I don't really give a shit. Yeah, which is a problem.
Now, okay, yeah, but you need to, Nico, because you know, if you're professing that you want to help men, and I think your motives are pure and that you actually mean this, so when you say you don't give a shit about perceptions, that's counterproductive to your goal of helping men. I mean, to me, that seems a little off.
Yeah,
So
I'm
you're
not
gonna.
always 100%. Yeah, I would agree. I would agree on this. I would completely agree, and I will add the bubble.
There you go.
I would add the bubble. I will agree on that. Yeah, Stardust told me to shut the fuck up, and I didn't. Oh well, I brought this upon myself. How about that?
It might be useful, but I mean, I think the damage is done, and I'm just. I mean, I just would best just prefer us to move on, and you know, Sandman is back to his thing, I'm back to my thing, and you know, even like I said, unless it's some extreme, you know, that was actually literally threatening. I mean, Sandman can keep on making videos about me all the time if he wants. I don't. I want to do other stuff that's beneficial to my subs, and I would agree. I mean, most of my subs tend not to be Sandman subscribers, so you know, talking about Sandman is particularly beneficial to them. So.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, we can all agree on this. Yeah. Okay. Fair enough. I'll do the bubble. You guys do your own thing.
In the future, you know, I mean, my videos aren't even, you know, they're so far away from what you guys do, and any of the talking points and information-based videos. Mine are milk and cookies, you know, entertainment, if you even want to call it that. So, you know, I don't need to put a bubble in there. I mean, basically, that's out for me. But I always sometimes feel, because I know certain people, like you, Nico, you know, we've been, since he came on the scene, pretty much talking with each other. So, you know, I feel compelled sometimes to point out that, hey, you know, something's off here. And, you know, I enjoy having a discussion about it, and it puts a light on the subject, whatever it may be, that I think is beneficial to everybody. And that's why, you know, doing this live and then, you know, posting it up later on will continue to be beneficial to that. This is hopefully, you know, reached its end, and we can now move forward again. We can get back on track, and each individually do our own thing, you know, because we are all very, very different in our content. So, yeah, I think, you know, hopefully we've achieved a little bit of something today.
Yeah. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I stated my position. I mean, it was my position, as I said, since the release of the video, and I think the most important thing to get out there is I had nothing to do. My position was that I was just going to leave it be and just move on, and these two people who happen to be my friends, is true, but they, of their own accord, they went off and made these responses, and yeah, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, to be fair, I would say that CS is a lot more mature than me. The video was more mature.
Yeah, his video is a lot better than yours, I've told you that.
Yeah, he's a lot more mature than me, and he did a much better refute. Maybe you should, you guys who, I'll put his video in the, no, because that would seem like, oh man, I don't know, I'm not very good in the perception thing. Yeah.
Right. I think Osiris, his video that he posted up, I think yesterday sometime. I didn't see it until this morning, and I only got halfway through it. But I think he makes an excellent point. He's kind of in my way of thinking too. So, uh, somebody catching up on everything might want to catch up on all these videos that led up to this point, and then also, what has transpired since. So. I'd tell everybody, yeah, go out there and see what's going on. Let's put this to bed. Let's move on. Let's move on to the next phase of where we want to go and what we want to address.
I'm sorry, I'm laughing because I read Traversible's comment. Stardust Avatar is killing me. It's like my twin brother. It's kind of...
I'll let you guys know, well, Nico already knows, it's not erotic in nature, but I do have an interesting obsession with morbidly obese people of both genders. I have many, many pictures of, I could have shown you the worst one, Big Hot Mama. I know you like that one, Nico. So.
Oh my God, no.
Yeah.
No. I think it was briefly mentioned in your chat with Spetsnaz.
Yeah. When people first see it, like, what the fuck is that? Is that a human?
Yeah, it's man. Yeah, I mean that is a very strange obsession. I kind of have to close my monitor whenever I discuss with you, whenever I talk to you.
Incredibly disgusting picture.
I just find it interesting. What can I say?
Yeah. My favorite one is the one on the the mobility scooter. That is ridiculous.
Yeah, that's a good one too. There's so many good ones. I have exquisite taste in selecting pictures of morbidly obese people.
And this is not fat shaming, people.
No, of course not. We would never dream of doing such a thing.
Okay. I think we said the majority of the things that we had to say on this issue. Would you agree?
Yes,
yeah,
I do.
That's what I need to say.
Yeah, I think we better close this podcast. I don't think Sandman is showing up. I did give him, for the record, the link. Maybe it went to his spam. I don't know. Maybe I'm blocked. Who knows? But I did try to get him here as well. All right. So that's it. You guys take care. Any final words from you two?
No, it was great meeting you, Thinking Ape.
Nice talking to you, sir.
And Nico, I'm sure we'll tangle up our horns again in the future sometime. And,
yeah, well, you can stay on the podcast. I'm just closing it for the rest of the guys, and then we can just have a private conversation. I can listen to you two speak German. I'm not going to masturbate to that.
I see the point of that.
It's going to be very hard for me to do also. The last time I was actually there was I was 16 years old. I was in high school. And in the years, I'm 58 now, so it has faded quite a bit, let me tell you.
Yeah.
It doesn't come natural anymore. It's very hard-pressed, so speaking German right now isn't... plus, like I said, I've taken that half a pain pill this morning, and that probably isn't going to help me either.
All right. I'll see you all in a bit. I'm just going to stop the broadcast now.